The topic 7 of the chapter is plant reproduction. Plants reproduce as to ensure the continuity of their own kind. In the flowering plant, sexual reproduction occurs in the flowers, which bear the reproductive organ of plant. A flower is made up of 4 main parts. The first part is stamen, this is the male part of the flower, and it consists of 2 main parts. The first part of stamen is anther. It functions to produce pollen grains. Pollen grain contains 2 male gametes. The second part of stamen is filament. It functions to hold and support the anther. The second part of a flower is the pistil, this is the female part of the flower. A pistil consists of 4 parts. The first part of the pistil is stigma, and it functions to receive pollen grains during pollination. The second part of the pistil is style. Style is the stalk that connects the stigma to ovary. The third part is the ovary. Ovary functions to produce and protect the ovule. Ovule contains female gamete, ovum. The third part of the flower is sepal. Sepal is the leaf-like structure which encloses and protects the other parts of the flower during the bud stage. The fourth part of the flower is petal. Petal is usually brightly colored to attract insects and pollination. There are 4 stages to accomplish plant reproduction. The first stage is pollination. The second stage is fertilization. The third stage is formation of fruit and seeds. The fourth stage is germination of seeds. These 4 stages of the plant reproduction will be detailed in the following part of the video. Now, we discuss the first stage of plant reproduction, pollination. In the sexual reproduction of the flowering plant, pollination is the transfer of mature pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of a flower. Pollination brings the male gametes from an anther to female gametes in stigma so that the fertilization can take place. There are 2 types of pollination. The first is self-pollination.
第一种类型是自花授粉。
The second is cross-pollination. These 2 types of pollination will be detailed in the following part of the video. We first discuss the self-pollination. Self-pollination only involve one parent plant. The pollen grain is transferred from anther to stigma within the same flower, or a different flower on the individual plant. The offspring produced have similar characteristics to their parent plant, so less variety of offspring are produced. This makes the offspring less resistant to diseases. The second type of pollination is cross-pollination. Cross-pollination involves 2 parent plant of same species. The pollen grain is transferred from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower in another plant. The combination of gametes from 2 different parents increase the variation in their offspring and make offspring may be able to survive environmental change better. This is the explanation of pollination. Pollination of the flowering plant require pollinating agents. Now we will give explanation to the pollinating agents. Pollinating agents are the mediums or organisms which help to transfer the pollen grains from anther to the stigma. Pollinating agents are needed because pollen grains are immotile, and thus need help to be carried to the stigma. 4 types of pollinating agents to be discussed in this section. The first type of pollinating agent is animal. The second is insects. The third is water. The fourth is wind. These 4 types of pollinating agents will be detailed in the following part of the video. Now, the first type of pollinating agents, animals, to be discussed. Pollen grains stick to the beak, or body of animals, and are transferred to the stigma of another flower. When the animals fly and alight on them, the flowers that rely on the animals for the pollination have the following characteristics. The flowers have large and brightly colored petals. At the meantime, the flowers contain nectar, and sweetly scented. The example of the flowers which rely on animals for pollination are durian flower, papaya flower, rambutan flower. The second type of pollinating agents, insects. Insects transfer the sticky pollen grain from flower to flower. When it's searching for food, the flowers that rely on the insects for the pollination have the following characteristics. The first characteristic of the flower are anthers, stigmas are small and compact. The second characteristic is filaments, and stigmas are not protrude and do not hang outside the flower. The pollen grain is small, sticky. The flowers will produce nectar, or sugary solution. The petals of the flowers are big and colorful to attract insect. The flowers are sweetly scented. Example of the flowers that rely on the insects for pollination are hibiscus, sunflower, and rose. The third type of pollinating agent is water. With the water, pollen grain of aquatic plants are released into the surrounding water. Pollination occurs when the pollen grain reaches another plant of the same species. The flowers that rely on the water for the pollination have the following characteristics. Amount of pollen grain is large, light, non-wettable, and can float on water. Nectar and odor are absent. The example of the flowers that rely on the water for pollination are water hyacinth, Hydrilla sp, and Alodia sp. The fourth type of pollinating agents, wind. With the wind, the light pollen grains are blown from the anther to stigma of another flower. The pollen grains can be blown for long distances. The flowers that rely on the water for the pollination have the following characteristics. Filaments are long, anthers are big, and hang outside the flower. Style of the flower are long, stigmas are feathers, and hang outside the flower. The plants produce a large quantity of light pollen grains which can easily be carried by the wind. The plants produce a large quantity of small inconspicuous flowers, which do not have large, colorful petals, scent, or nectar. Example of the plants that rely on the wind for pollination are grass, corn, and paddy. The discussion about the pollinating agent end here.